Hey guys, what's up? I'm here for a gear review, this time for my well-tested, quite used Alien cams. It's funny how often I actually have used these cams, but never actually taken the time to make a video about them. These are very well-known cams. They used to be third-party. A guy used to make them out of his garage, but after a while of doing that, he died, and now they're made by a company called Fixie. And you can just, if you Google them, you can go to their website. They also have a company called Roca Ropes. Alien cams will run about $70 a piece. They are more expensive cams than, say, Black Diamond or Metolius cams, but I believe that they're worth it, and many people also believe that these cams are worth it. They've been around for quite some time now, maybe about 30 years, and have gone through a couple different iterations. The older type was something like this, where you can just sort of see some of the features compared to the newer type. It has single length sling, and then the thumb loop is very minimal. But these, everyone still loved them. They came out with a new iteration, which apparently no one liked. That's the stories I've heard. And then now they have their newer type, which is called the Evo, Alien Evo. Again, no matter which ones you buy, I actually don't think you can get these new anymore. They stopped producing those, but you can still buy them on eBay and from other folks like that. These are the kind of cams that you get nowadays, which are just slightly different in that they actually have a little wedge right here for your thumb, as opposed to the old cams, which there really was no wedge. And then also the sling, they double looped the sling to make it extendable, just slightly extendable. And about these cams is they create everything that you see on the cam. Instead of going to a different company for the sling or for the plastic on the thumb loop or whatever, they make everything. And so if that's kind of your thing, what you like to hear in your gear, then check out their company. Alien makes 6 different cams, the smallest one being this little black guy, and then the bigger one being the red. Alien cam sizes are noted by their color, whereas like other cams have both a color and a number associated with it. These ones, you won't hear them referred to by their number nearly as much as the color. You will actually see they have it listed what size crack they fit in. The red, it says here, is a number 1, which means it fits roughly a 1-inch crack. Then we go down to the gray, which says 7/8 on it. The yellow is 3/4. Funny thing, the older version of the green and the blue don't actually say on them what sizing they have. And then the black one is the smallest one at 1/3. It's a decent size range. It's not as big as other companies, and Aliens themselves, they only make this range of cams. And they have other gear too, but mostly in terms of trad climbing, it's only cams, whereas the company itself also makes a lot of bolts and a lot of ropes and other things like that. But this is as far as their trad gear pretty much goes. In addition to this set of standard cams, they also offer offset Aliens, which I personally don't own, but I definitely will get a set of offset Aliens as soon as I can. And if you are unaware of what offset cams are, it would essentially be in this example, I have a green cam, and so on one side it would have the same size lobes from the green cam, and on the other side they would have the lobes of the yellow cam, or one size up and one size down. So they have about 5 or 6 offset cams. Those offset cams come in handy quite a bit depending on for nearly any area you climb at, especially if you want to be a big wall climber. Now, if you're wondering about actual size comparisons to more popular cams, I have a 0.5 Black Diamond right here. And basically, the red cam is roughly the same size as the 0.5. You can see how this one's a bit more bulky, but overall, they're roughly the same size. If I'm using doubles of this size, I'll have one purple Black Diamond and then one of these for my 2.5 sizes. As for the Black Alien, this one's quite a bit smaller, and it's roughly the same size as a 00 C3. And I know they don't make the C3s anymore. I'm not sure how many of you guys actually have one of these or have used one of these in the past, and so you can't really see my comparison, or you can't really make sense of my comparison that much, but it's roughly the same size. And I would say that in the new line, the X4 that Black Diamond has, that would be like a number 1 or a number 2. I believe that 0 is the smallest size in that line, and so the Black Alien would probably put you around 1 or 2 because it's just above what the 000 is, and the 0 is supposed to be in the new smallest cam. So this is like 1 or a 2 in the Z4 sizes. As far as Metolius goes, it may be slightly smaller than the gray, or I don't know if they changed the color on that, but their smallest cam, this may be slightly smaller. Now, I personally haven't used this one a whole lot. It's more of an aid piece. This one's rated to 5 kilonewtons, so it's more for aid climbing, but you can use that for free climbing. That'll catch a fall at some point. I've used the bigger sizes quite a bit more. This gray alien, or my gray alien, actually has a tweaked head because I must have fallen on it at some point. I don't really know how I got that tweaked head, but I'm assuming it's because I fell on it. This green alien, I actually had one of my biggest trad falls on it. Fell about 20 or so feet onto this guy, and it held just fine. So I guess, they work. I'm still here today. Some shortcomings with these cams are the same shortcomings as with any older micro cam, I guess, other than the Z4s, in that it has a super flexible stem. This is what Alien was known for, is the first small cam with a flexible stem, because they started making these sort of cams back in the day of Friends and everything, and super, like hard steel stems. So this is really the first flexible stem cam you have, or you had before you got X4s and Metolius and other cams on the market. And so they've kept that design. The only thing is, when you are, especially with these smaller sizes, I think actually maybe the newer Evo type ones are a bit easier to work with, but the older style, and it's the same for any of the cams, but when you're wiggling it into a crack, sometimes that can be a little annoying to place because of how flexible these things are. But once you get it in there, then obviously the nice flexibility of the stem keeps the cam where it's at and then prevents walking. When you get to the bigger cams, that's less of an issue because you can, with the size of the head, it just holds it in more steady, and you can just kind of go anywhere with that. The newer cams with the extendable sling, not a bad feature. I've used that a couple of times. It's just your standard setup where you have your carabiner in, pull it out, clip it in, pull. There is a bar tacking right here, but that's so small it barely ever gets in your way when you're extending the sling, so you don't have to watch for where that bar tack is. I'm not sure if I ever keep less quick draws on my harness because of this feature, but it is a nice feature to have. Will help me save a quick draw here and there. They have a super small head width, which it's one of the things that they talk about all the time. You can see how it's smaller compared to the older version, and that's just nice for fitting in little pods for one thing, or slotting in cracks for another. Just having a smaller head kind of helps you with fitting the cam into smaller places, and then because of the flexible stem, you don't really have to worry about any walking with that smaller head. Great places to use these are in Yosemite. Squamish is actually, I don't think you can be an official Squamish climber until you have at least a couple aliens, because they really work well there. Anywhere in Washington, anywhere where there's granite pretty much. I've even used these at Smith Rock on basalt rock. I've used these at Red Rocks on sandstone, in Colorado on other type of sandstone. I pretty much have used these everywhere that I've climbed, and they just work everywhere. They're great cams. I think everyone should at least have a set of them. The only potential drawback is definitely the price. These are kind of more of like not your core set of cams. You could have like your set of C4 or Metolius as your core set, and then use these as kind of an add-on set because they are more expensive. About, anywhere from $60 $768 for the smaller one, and then getting into more like closer to the low 80s for the bigger ones. And then the offsets are about the same price. So they are more expensive because it's a smaller company making them, but it is worth it. And it's really nice to just have these types of cams in your arsenal. They come in handy quite a bit. I realized I forgot to mention something when I was editing this video, and that's that the metal that makes the lobes is quite a bit softer than other cams, and so that'll lead to them being worn out more, especially if you weight them. So it's another reason why these should be a secondary set of cams. Well, guys, that's just about all I have to say about these cams. They're really great pieces of material. Again, I think everyone should have them on their harness. If you have different experiences or want to add your own experience, then leave a comment, and I'd love to read about that. And then I'll see you guys on the next video.